This is the Omaha News, presented by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, from the studios of UNO Television.
The economy is still lagging. Today on the Omaha News, we'll take a closer look at how this is impacting local businesses in the metro. Also, cold weather recently swept through Omaha. Did you take action to save your plants? We'll check out the weather's impact on your garden. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. I'm Jake Buckingham.
The Department of Motor Vehicles is supposed to decide who can drive and who cannot. However, we will show you the surprising facts of driving as a senior citizen and what it really takes to get back on the road. Good afternoon. I'm Matt Santa Maria. In this tough economy, people's spending habits are changing. For small businesses, you would think profit would be hard to come by.
And although some are tightening their belts, one area grocery store may be loosening a button or two because business has been on the upswing. Karen Barr spends the noon hours shopping for her lunch instead of heading for a fast food restaurant.
You can't really get away with having lunch in the old market without spending $15, and I just couldn't do that every day anymore. So if I come here, I spend about 6 or 7, and that's quite a bit better, and I can have fresh fruit.
Like many people, Barr is aware of the tough times. Her spending habits have changed, and she's cutting back.
I've noticed a difference. I mean, luckily, gas prices have gone down a little bit, but by having lunch here every day instead of at a restaurant, it's made a huge difference in how much I have available for other things and bills and stuff.
Barr is one of 1,000 customers who drop by Patrick's Market every day in downtown Omaha. The large number means good news for the store's owner, P.J. Anderson, who opened the grocery store in November of 2007. He says the economy hasn't really affected the store's profitability, only changed people's spending habits.
Frugal is the word I would use. People understand that, there's only so much money. So, instead of buying the higher end peanut butter or the higher end jelly or going for that, more expensive grab and go meal, people are starting to bake a little bit more, cook a little bit more, just look for that bargain.
So with the economy in a recession and people spending less, the results don't reflect the overall situation. And for Patrick's Market, they couldn't be happier.
I'm not complaining. We've been hanging in there. Like I said, it changes. You just kind of have to, what people want is what you have to go after, and in the recession, their needs change a little bit.
P.J. Anderson also says it's more difficult for small grocery stores to recover after a recession. He says small businesses don't have the kind of financial support the larger corporations have. But overall, Anderson says he's happy with the steady flow of profit and doesn't expect a dip in sales anytime soon.
Despite the recession here in Nebraska, there is one program that gives hope to those in need and a chance for some who otherwise would be without. Melinda Manahan reports on some local angels giving opportunities to those who are less fortunate.
Through these doors, the Angels on Wheels organization is changing lives through their Cross Training Center.
Before I found the Cross Training Center and Angels on Wheels, I was actually trying to find a job, was unable to find a job because of my criminal history, and was about to be homeless in either the Sienna Francis House or the Open Door Mission.
The Cross Training Center collects electronics, and then the men refurbish the computers and sell them to nonprofit and low-income households. This program also creates a way for homeless men to receive an education.
We work with Metro Community College, UNO, all the different colleges around to get them on that career path. And the key part of that is that we are really looking to focus them on whatever it is that they have a real interest in.
25 men have graduated from the Cross Training Center since its opening last November, and 19 are currently enrolled.
And so what we do is we give them back that hope and then get them on a career path so that they can fulfill their dreams.
For more information on how you can help, contact Brenda Banks at 960-9789. For the Omaha News, I'm Melinda Monahan.
The program continues to make a big impact here in Omaha. Those who participate say they are extremely grateful they got the chance to get a second chance with Cross Training Center.
Well, the sale of the Chicago Cubs is closer to coming to an end. This according to Don Liebentrit, the general counsel counsel for the Tribune, who currently owns the team. A bankruptcy judge cleared the Cubs to be sold to Omaha Joe Ricketts in a record $845 million deal, which would give the Ricketts family a 95% stake in the team. Chicago-based Tribune is expected to make about $740 million off the deal. Ricketts is the founder of Omaha-based TD Ameritrade. Well, sometimes we take driving for granted, but how old is too old to get behind the wheel?
Well, Jake, the Department of Motor Vehicles should be the filter to say who drives and who does not. But as we take a closer look, you might not realize why many seniors could be driving on the road longer. Driving and the elderly. Put those two words together in a public setting and you'll likely spark a debate. How do we regulate one's ability or inability to safely patrol the roads as we age? Or do we at all? We set to find out, visiting this Department of Motor Vehicles site near 108th and Maple. And while they refused to speak on camera, they did grant us access to their facilities. The supervisor on site did tell us off camera that the topic gets yearly attention at their state headquarters in Lincoln. States like California, for example, have already set up mandatory renewal tests for those aged 70 and older, though only if they are involved in a car accident. But the pressing issue remains. Should all drivers be forced to take a renewal test when they hit a certain age?
Yeah, I think there should be tests, not necessarily completely measuring driving ability, but also reaction times. That's a major factor in old people and what they can do on the roads.
I don't think so. I guess I would have to look at statistics that say, all these, once you reach a certain age, you cause a lot of accidents.
Those statistics themselves are inconclusive. While older drivers are involved in more deadly crashes on the road, they're actually a part of less total accidents per mile driven. Either way, nothing seems imminent in the state of Nebraska for now, but that doesn't mean the topic is heading to the back burner anytime soon. The DMV claimed that one of the major obstacles for such a program would be funding, and that the city budget just could not account for it.
Well, today on Wall Street, the markets rallied for big gains today. The Dow at one point topped the 10,000 point mark. The Dow closed up over 144.8. The Nasdaq finished up 32.34, and the S&P 500 closed up 18.83. Well, snow fell across Omaha this past week, the first of the season, even while the leaves on the trees haven't even fallen off yet. So why the concern?
Well, Jake, many across the metro were caught off guard by the sudden cold snap, especially when it comes to the garden. When we come back, why you should be concerned if you were caught off guard by the snow. You're watching the Omaha News on the Knowledge Network.
UNO Television.
Students work with professionals who have all kinds of experience in the industry.
Lights, camera, action. Literally.
Get paid while you learn more about the TV business.
Work on all kinds of productions.
My friends who worked on TV crew last semester are now working part-time at local stations.
Working on TV crew is a great experience.
UNO Television. Student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
Breathtaking, electrifying, inspiring. Award-winning documentaries produced by UNO Television offer you a window on the history of Omaha and the world. Beginning with the acclaimed 2-hour documentary on the history of Omaha, If These Walls Could Speak, UNO Television has developed a reputation for producing high-quality programs that explore, educate, and enlighten. These outstanding productions can be part of your home video collection. For information about purchasing VHS or DVD copies, call 554-2516 or visit our website at unotv.unomaha.edu.
Most local television news only gives you brief headlines about issues that may be important to you. But for more than 10 years, only one program has remained dedicated to examining all the information about issues that really matter to Nebraskans. I'm Kathy Wyatt, and it's my privilege to present those issues for your consideration. Join me on the campus of UNO in a program we call Consider This, every week on the Knowledge Network.
It has been especially cold this fall. The snow that fell Saturday proved that with measurable amounts. Our gardens might be a concern.
The snow only stayed for one day, but as Stephanie Bachman reports, the damage had already been done.
Where you would usually see gardens full of vegetables, ripe and ready to be picked, has been changed by the early snowfall.
Once they've been frozen that night and then the sun comes out the next day, that's what is really harmful.
Most vegetables were picked before they were ripe.
They'll ripen in newspapers or brown paper bags. They don't taste as good as when they're vine ripened, but you can still use them.
Precautions could have been made to protect the plants.
You can cover them with sheets or plastic, or just bring them closer to the, maybe in the garage or under a patio, closer to the house where it's a little warmer.
Diane Knutson was able to save most of her plants.
Fortunately, we remembered to bring most of our outdoor plants in. I had a begonia that I wanted to bring in, and it ended up all covered with snow.
With the cool weather and the early snow, many gardens like this one have already been cleaned up. For the Omaha News, I'm Stephanie Bachman.
Well, if your garden was damaged by the snow or freezing nights, finding a nice sheltered part of your yard will help protect the plants for next year.
Despite the onset of cold weather in the heartland, Fontenelle Forest is encouraging people to come out and experience wildlife just a little bit longer. Katie Murphy takes us along on her trip into the nature area.
With the cold setting in, it is not too late to enjoy what Fontenelle Forest has to offer.
It really gives you a piece of nature in Nebraska, something that is unlike anything that you can see anywhere else, where every day offers something new and exciting.
The Nature Center offers a wide variety of activities.
We have programs throughout the next few months for people of all ages. One of the biggest things to take note of is that this is the last month of our Dino Quest exhibit. It ends October 31st, so if you haven't been to see the dinosaurs yet, you have a couple more weeks to get down and see them.
Fontenelle Forest here in Bellevue, Nebraska is a place where people can come to not only enjoy nature, but learn how to preserve it.
All of our programs deal with conservation in one way or another, whether it's specifically like the birds of prey.
The naturalists use birds that, for one reason or another, are not able to be returned to the wild.
She was injured, she was found by the side of the road in January of 1995.
Fontenelle works with these birds to be able to use them in educational programs.
That's the hardest thing for him to learn so far, is getting back on the glove, and now he's got to learn to go through the doors and go in a carrier and stuff. So we're working baby steps with him, and he's getting there slowly.
For more information on all the programs at Fontenelle, you can visit fontenelleforest.org. For the Omaha News, I'm Katie Murphy.
The Nature Center will remain open daily 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Trails will remain open dawn until dusk. For more information, log on to fontenelleforest.org. The State Tax Revenue Forecasting Board will meet earlier than expected in order to be ready to start a special budget cutting session on November the 4th. The board will issue its predictions on future tax receipts on Tuesday, October 27th. Some senators are already indicating that the state is $57 million below forecast of tax receipts. Some places that could possibly see some significant cuts over the mid-year would be state school aid. That would include K through 12. Medicaid, which accounts for 13.4% of the current year's budget, and higher education. The University of Nebraska system represents about 14% of the state budget. NU President J.P. Milliken says any cuts in the NU system would put pressure on regions to drastically reduce or raise tuition rates, which otherwise have been kept affordable for students.
The UNO Theater is in full swing. Capri Walton reports on what we can expect from this fall's production of The Hippie Doctor.
UNO's theater season comes to life with Dr. Benjamin Grabert's playwright, Hippie Doctor.
I'd rather kill myself than end up in a suburban ghetto pooping out kids like a nicely kept French poodle while my husband brings home the bacon.
With scripts learned and rehearsals wrapping up, Dr. Graber prepares for opening night.
Basically, this is my master's thesis play, and I'm a graduate student. I graduate with a master's in theater. Basically, the director was my thesis advisor, and My specialty in the master's program was playwriting, and it's always been the intent, if I could write a good enough play, that it would be one of the productions, and fortunately, it's happening.
I swear to God.
This playwright is sure not to be for the faint of heart.
Or the therapist finds you and commits you.
Because you want to kill yourself?
I wouldn't put it that way.
Benjamin Graeber's master's thesis, Hippie Doctor, is sure to bring the counterculture of the 60s to UNO. For the Omaha News, I'm Capri Walton.
To contact the box office for tickets, just call 554-PLAY. Well, Matt, have you ever been to a play here at UNO? It's probably something you don't want to miss.
I'll keep that in mind, Jake. Meanwhile, the Maverick football team practiced outside yesterday in the rain. That might not be the only obstacle the Mavs might have to overcome as they head down to Kansas this weekend. That's all covered in Sports Talk when we come back. This is the Omaha News right here on the Knowledge Network.
Feed your brain with original programs from the Knowledge Network. TKN combines the resources of educational and television experts from UNO Television, Omaha Public Schools, Westside Community Schools, Metropolitan Community College, and Creighton University. TKN members produce a variety of programming with collaboration from students working in front of and behind the camera. The Knowledge Network. Feed your brain by watching Cox 17 and 18.
Maverick Sports has found a classy new home for football, hockey, and basketball coverage. Classical 90.7 KVNO. For schedule information, go to kvno.org. KVNO, the voice of Omaha's team, the UNO Mavericks.
If you're an Omaha kid feeling tired and slow, here's the numbers you ought to know. Eat 5 fruits and veggies every day. Drink 4 glasses of water, okay? Eat 3 foods from the dairy scene. And just 2 hours in front of the screen. Now take 1 hour to move around. And that's the Healthy Kids Countdown.
For games, ideas, and other fun stuff about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Visit livewellOmahaKids.org. But don't stay long.
You're watching the Omaha News.
The League of Women's Voters is a great resource available in our community for those who would like to get involved and have a jumping off point to use. But don't be fooled. Despite the name, the League is more about than just voting. With us this afternoon is the president of the League of Women Voters of Greater Omaha, Linda Duckworth. Thanks so much for coming and talking to us this afternoon. For viewers who aren't, necessarily in tune with the organization or understand what it is, can you kind of talk about what you guys do?
Sure. We're a nonpartisan organization, and yet we're strangely political. Maybe not strangely, but anyway, we do things like we publish a voter's guide every time there's an election, and the way we get started with that is we come up with good questions for the candidates, and then we try to make them so they can't wiggle out of the question. We try to make it specific enough, and then we get these questions to the candidates. They get the answers back to us, or they don't, and then we publish our voter's guide, both online and on paper. And it's very informative. A lot of people in the Omaha area really appreciate it. People all over the country appreciate the voters' guides that the leagues put out, because it gives a pretty good window into what these candidates are like. And some of them don't answer, and then that tells you something too, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a great community service for Omaha, but not just Omaha, the state of Nebraska. Can you kind of talk about some of the debates that you guys done in the past?
We always, every 2 years, we sponsor a debate between our District 2 candidates running for Congress. And sometimes we only have one for right before the general election. But last year, we had a primary congressional debate, and then we also had, or we call it a forum, and then we also had a debate before the November election.
Okay, so it's a great community service. Can you kind of talk about who can join the organization?
Anybody can join.
Anybody, so it's not...
well, you have to be 18.
Okay.
But yeah, anyone can join.
All right. And I understand you guys have a girls' workshop coming up. What's that all about?
We do. It's called Running and Winning. It's a workshop to encourage high school girls to maybe one of these days run for public office. I think it's something that girls don't think about too much. So we're going to have 16 elected women who are going to come and talk to them in small groups. And then after that, the girls are going to have to put together a campaign, and they'll have posters and speeches, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be right here on the UNO campus.
All right. All right, Linda Duckworth, thanks so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
And speaking with us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jake.
All right, thanks so much. All right, if you would like to get involved with the League of Women Voters, just log on to their website at Omaha, lwv.org, or give them a phone call at 402-344-3701. Well, you know, he's waiting to tell you all about the latest at the gridiron and what's making waves in the pool.
Absolutely right, Jake. Join us for Sports Talk coming up next. The women's volleyball team looks to head to a tough match against a ranked team and what you can expect from them on the court. You're watching the Omaha News.
UNO represents the commitment that the community makes toward a quality education.
Why would you not want to come to an institution that's as vibrant and alive as this institution is?
Only one program has remained dedicated to examining all the information on issues that really matter to Nebraskans. Watch Consider This, a program produced by UNO Television to give you more information than your typical newscast.
Welcome to another dose of Sports Talk. I'm your host, Matt Santa Maria. The football team goes on the road to Kansas with question marks at quarterback. The volleyball team is in Missouri for a conference showdown. And the swimming and diving team heats up for regular season action. Let's dig right in on the gridiron. The UNO football team wrapped up a soggy practice on Tuesday evening. The 5-2 Mavs are coming off a big homecoming win against high-powered Washburn University this past Saturday. The win, however, didn't come without a potentially high price tag. It was quarterback Greg Wunderlich's right foot that was the story of practice on Tuesday. Coach Burns himself is iffy on his return.
Well, that we're going to have to wait to see. That's a day-to-day operation right now, and we'll just have to see. He was actually out there doing, a few things today, which I did not expect him to be standing around all day. So it's a lot better off today than it was yesterday, I will tell you that.
If Wunderlich can't go, it'll likely be redshirt freshman John Teagland under center as the Mavs head to Fort Hays State in search of their fourth consecutive win on Saturday. Moving indoors to the Sapp Fieldhouse, the UNO women's volleyball team was also practicing on Tuesday. The Mavs hit the hardwood looking to erase the grueling memories of that 5-set loss against Truman State, while also getting ready for a tough road battle against 5th-ranked Central Missouri. Senior Lizzie Mock heads into Thursday's matchup knowing the team will be looking to her for leadership.
I'm just really trying to focus while I'm going in and be ready for everything that they got and stay competitive the whole time and being like a leader out there and being a go-to player.
Overall, Mock and the Mavs are 17-5 on the young year, 7-2 in conference play. The pool is becoming a hot spot for athletics at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. And after an up-and-down 2008, the Mavs start their new season with high hopes in and especially out of the water.
They wanted team unity to be a very important theme this year.
With 14 girls earning trips to nationals a year ago, it's hard to argue with the success that the UNO swimming and diving team enjoyed in 2008. That is, unless you're head coach Todd Samland.
We weren't very strong cohesively as a team. There were some forces underneath that were compromising commitment, and it showed.
Part of a solution, according to Coach, is simply addition by subtraction.
Some personalities aren't in our program anymore, and that's part of it. And some of it is the freshmen that came in. They are very driven to be part of a team. So it's kind of a very cooperative group this year and a very cohesive group right off the bat.
And for all the Mavericks accomplished in the pool in 2008, it's an added team chemistry that looks to get them over the hump in 2009. And such chemistry begins with senior captain Lisa Elworth, whose expectations are high.
In the pool, we want to win conference. That's kind of one of our big goals, and we want to place top 10 at nationals.
More than that, the Mavs are simply looking to find the unity they lacked a year ago.
We want to be a team, and Todd's goal for us is to be a program that can be emulated, appreciated, and show ownership of.
And if those goals are met, they might just have a season that meets the expectations of their hard-to-please coach. The squad opened their season with an exhibition match against the University of Nebraska at Kearney last week. They officially dive into their regular season on October 24th when they battle the Huskers. Well, that's it for Sports Talk for a couple weeks. You can join me then as we take a closer look at quarterback Greg Wunderlich. Also, I have a very special Sports Talk, Jake, in the works that you will not want to miss. Have a great evening. I'm Matt Santa Maria.
And if you want to stay up to date with us here at the Omaha News, make sure you log on to our webpage at theomahanews.com. Also, remember to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/the Omaha News. For all of us here at the Omaha News, thanks so much for watching. I'm Jake Buckingham.
Take a look at UNO and you'll find a school that can pretty much be everything to everyone. We have that big city feel and a sense of community that creates a close, friendly campus. Our professors and resources contribute to our great reputation in the city and the region. So whether you're just starting out, transferring, earning a degree online, or choosing a new path in life, you'll be able to find what you want.
If your days get out of control, reset your attitude by setting your radio to KVNO, Classical 90.7. Discover your own personal oasis of serenity on KVNO, Classical 90.7.
The Omaha News, presented each week by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Live each Wednesday at 4 p.m. right here on the Knowledge Network.